Welcome back, traders. Alright, we've got another potential trade entry here. We're looking at the British pound Canadian dollar. Now, it's another one of my longer term trades. I will be avoiding posting scalping because unless you watch the video the very second it comes out, you're going to miss it. So most of these will always be on the longer term market. Okay, we are looking at the British pound Canadian dollar. Now, we've been seeing that there's a lot of issues going on over in the UK. They're having a lot of political troubles. I won't go into that now. You can definitely check it out in the news section at the jpmarkets.co.za. But let's have a look at the technical analysis side of it. This is another situation where there's been a bit of debate between myself and a couple other traders. Everyone has seen this as being a starting point here. And there are two ascending lines that we're looking at. Yeah, I'll show you the one first. What we're doing is we're looking at lining up across like this, and you can see that we have another point of rejection here where the market shot up a lot, and then when we extend that out, we start seeing that the market has now entered this this interesting zone again, and we're looking for something to happen off this line. So let me go ahead and actually draw that line in, and then I'll draw you the other one. So here's the start. It needs to line up with this area here, and then we put it down like that. Now we can see that it tested this line, bounced off, broke through, came up, it's hit again, and now we look like there may be a continuation of a bullish movement coming off this line right now. Now what I also spotted, which is quite interesting, is we have the same starting point, but now when we line it up a little bit differently, we take this area as being the point where it was rejected off, and we do that, we can see that the market it got quite close and bounced off. It broke through in the area, bounced off. Here, well, obviously that's where we lined it up. Here we've seen a lot of resistance, and here we've seen a lot of resistance as well. Now we can't trade off this line anytime soon because the current market price is very far away. It's at about 260 pips away. But I still want to have it drawn in as like a potential target. Because if we're going to be trading long, we need to look at where is a likely place where the market is going to end. So I'm going to leave that there, but we're going to be trading off this lower line. So let me zoom in and we can have a closer look. So now we've seen this ascending trend line. And when we do have a look at the bigger picture, the market is definitely bullish, although this could be a bearish reversal. So we need to keep an eye out for that as well. If this continues as a bearish reversal, then what we want to see is we want the market to break down below this line, come back up, give us a candle off here, and then we can start trading it down again. Because you can see that the market has been coming down with a little up, down, bigger up, much bigger down, up, and now it's coming down again. So we think it might continue this sort of pattern going down, or this could be a turning point where it will bounce up. In that case, we would be very interested in to see how close to this line it could get. That could be a lot of profit that it's coming up. If you were to enter a trade off this point, then we would want to set a stop loss, a reasonable stop loss, and we're looking at about 1.66 around there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in some price labels. And I'll put in the exact parameter. So we're looking at a price of about here for a stop loss, because if the market breaks this level and it comes lower, then it looks like the continuation of the bearish trend will happen, because it will be following that pattern where it comes down, gives us a lower low before giving us a high, and then a lower low, which means a bullish trade would be wrong. But now where do we put a take profit? We're looking at about 1.72, maybe a little bit lower than that. So let's go ahead and edit this. Now this would be a very big profit if we're going for it. This is a kind of trade that you'd enter in a small amount, much smaller than you'd expect, and then you get to trade it and see what's happening. Now on my live account, I'm going to wait for confirmation on this turn. I might apply some of the other systems and strategies involved in the course, being the crossover, have a look at stochastics and all that fun stuff. But since this is the demo account, I'm just going to go ahead and enter a trade now. So then tomorrow when we follow up, we can see what's happening. I'm going to enter a 0.2 off that. My stop loss I'm going to set at 1.66. Take profit, I'll go for 1.72. And I'm just going to let this sit, and you'll see that this is a very small trade at 0.02. Now I'm not telling you to enter. Like I said, even my live account I'm not going to be entering just yet. I'm going to sit and wait for confirmation, and you need to feel comfortable with this. Make sure that you have the news open and you're seeing what's coming out of either the Great British Pound or Canada, and that the news isn't going to be throwing you off. But have a look at that. Let's have a quick look through at some of the other trades that we were looking at. Towards last week, we were looking at the Euro New Zealand dollar, and we were saying that we had this ascending trend line and we had this important area. Well, look at what has happened there. It broke right through. If I remember correctly, our one target was at about this level. It's already smashed through that target. And judging by the way this looks, I don't think it's going to be going away anytime soon. If the bullish trend continues, then we should be able to break this recent high here and keep on going. If you did manage to enter, what I've personally been doing is every time it crosses one of the other Fibonacci levels, I move up my stop loss. So my stop loss was at about somewhere around this area. And then now that it went across the went across the 38.2, I put my stop loss there. It's riding up, and now my stop loss is up here. If this continues, if it gives us a down and then trends back up, then I'll move my stop loss, and I'm basically just checking this trade once or twice a day and moving my stop loss up. The Canadian Swiss franc, we were expecting this to turn around and come up high, bouncing off this line. It does not look like that's happening anytime soon, so I'll actually be closing this. I'm going to be closing this pending order, and we'll have to have a look at this again when we get some more information out of it. And yeah, so if you got in on this trade, we're now just managing it and making money on the way up. And the British pound, Canadian dollar, we are sitting and waiting for this to come through. Once again, I do think that the bigger picture, we should see a bullish continuation, but this does look suspiciously like a change, so don't enter the trade yet, even though I did on my demo account. This is purely so that we can manage the trade and have a look at it tomorrow and see what happened. Have a great day, folks.